My name is Jeff, and I was a camper for 8 years, and I've been on staff now for 5 years. Yeah, so in the weeks before camp, I was a little nervous. There's so many new campers. Half of the staff were campers the last time I was on staff, and my little sister was going to be on staff. There'd been two new program directors, and I guess I was there's a lot of speculation, as to how the culture at camp had changed. But as soon as I got to pre-camp, a lot of that apprehension kind of disappeared. I think that's because a few new faces doesn't really change what camp is, and I think it kind of enforces the culture instead. It's a community of people and perspectives who, I guess, are brought together by circumstances, and we stayed together because there's a commonality that's unique to us, and it's important to who we are. Okay, I've been living abroad for about 4.5 years, and honestly, I've seen a lot and I've learned a lot, and a lot of a lot of my perceptions and my expectations about the world and other people, they're constantly being challenged, broken down, and reconstructed. But I think a better question in this particular case, though, is what have I learned from camp, and how has it added value to my other experiences in life? And I've broken down to three points, if you will, that have really influenced the way I interact with the world around me and how I kind of internalize those experiences. So the first one is simply to take a look at yourself frequently. Be critical, be fair, be honest, and had another one. Oh, be realistic. Okay. The second one then at this point would be to have a mentor. Uh, you know, I am quote unquote a teacher, but I really don't know much, and it's largely through the help of mentors that I've had some of my greatest experiences and made some of my better decisions. To me, a mentor is simply someone who is in the next stage of life. So if you're in high school, then maybe it's someone in college. And then the third point, learn to listen. Don't be the person who is constantly just trying, while someone else is talking, all you're doing is thinking about what you want to say. Try to absorb what they're saying, sift through their words, and locate the underlying meaning. You will find that that is a great way to help yourself understand the people around you, as well as to add some perspective for yourself as well. Uh, I absolutely loved being on staff with Valerie, especially for her first year. It was really great to see her kind of dive into the role. She had so much energy. I've never heard her scream that loud since she was like, two. But also, I haven't really been home. I haven't lived at home since I was in high school, and so that at this point is about 12 years that I haven't been living at home. And then when I am home, though, it's a different, it's a different culture. So being on staff together, I'm sure she learned, or I know she heard a couple of stories about when I was a camper, and I've heard some stories about when she was a camper and the camp crushes and all this other stuff. And no, it was great. I really loved it. It was a lot of fun, and I really hope she'll continue to do it in the future. So I'm not at that age yet where I'm actually like old, but I'm at the correct age where you start getting glimpses into the future. And I think, especially after kind of a, a gap between my last few years at camp, um, I started seeing, um, for example, Daniel Kim and Garrick and the entire Chung clan kind of just shoot up before my eyes, and it was shocking. I didn't even recognize some of them at first. They had to come up to me during camp, and be like, "Do you remember being my counselor?" And I was like, "Who are you?" um, which I still feel bad about. Sorry. Um, yeah, and then I hear stories about like people like John, for example, who, from what I've heard, is taller than me, and could I mean he could beat me up when he was a camper, but he could beat me up even worse now. And then being on staff with my sister and Jordan and Tyler and Max, and yeah, it kind of blows my mind. I think that's what kind of stands out the most from this camp experience.